do y'all think about for a prepper community or shtf group or whatever you want to call it? Do you have one? And if you don't, what's your idea of one? Are you planning on starting one, or just finding one to join, or something like that? Or you planning on going, lone wolf? I guess there's advantages and disadvantages to all of those. If you start one, maybe you have more say-so in how it's run than if you just find one to join. And if you're going lone wolf, then you have more or less complete control of what you do. You just don't have as much help or capability. But I guess to each its own. And when doing a group or community, do you have an idea of what you're looking for? Like maybe a number of people, or if not a number of people, a certain quality or skills or something like that that you have to have in mind. So I believe it's better to have a few good people that you can really trust than it is to have a large group of somebody you don't know if you can trust, you're not very familiar with, and all that. Also, I believe you're better off to have a bunch of different skills versus everybody have just about the same skill. I'm not talking about basic skills like being able to shoot, or being able to cook over a fire, or building shelters, or whatever basic stuff. Everybody should know that, regardless. But like, what do they specialize in? Like maybe what they did before, whatever bad situation you have. If you have 5 people that only know tactical stuff but don't know the medical stuff or garden stuff or homesteading stuff, then I don't think it's a very big benefit to you. Maybe if you're planning on having a group of just going and take everybody else's stuff, but I don't think that's a good idea. But anyway, like I said, I like to have a smaller group with more people that you trust and all that. But everybody needs to have something different to bring to the table, on top of the basic skills I just talked about. I know a little bit of, not everything, but a lot of different stuff. Like, I come from logging background, so I know how to deal with trees and chainsaws and equipment and stuff like that. And I work for a family, a small business, so when something breaks down, you don't jump off and get on something else or go home or whatever. You have to fix it. So I learned a whole lot of stuff that way, like mechanicking and, or at least basic mechanicking, and changing tires and welding and stuff like that. Also grew up on a small farm. We had cows and some chickens and things like that, and pigs every now and then. We'd raise one. So I learned stuff like that. We always had a garden as I was a kid, so I grew up doing that kind of stuff, and hunting and fishing and all that. Basically, just like a lot of people in this area, down here in the south, pretty much everybody grows up that way. Well, at least they used to. Nowadays, I don't know, with the newer, younger generations coming up now, even if they grew up that way, a lot of them didn't care about it. They'd rather have video games and whatever else like that. They didn't care about doing things like that. But I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed working in the garden and loved going hunting and fishing and stuff like that. And, you know, I kind of feel like I should have been, you know, born in an earlier generation or something with things I like. Just like when it comes to music, I like good old bluegrass music, and that's what I play, guitar and banjo and stuff. Of course, I got some videos on here. Y'all probably already seen that if you're interested in it. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off track. But that's what you know, some of the skills I have. And, you know, of course, I have some odd and end stuff, but not really specialized in. I can do a little bit of gunsmithing, especially when it comes to something easy like blocks. That's one reason I like blocks so much. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of other people, other types of guns come to them as easy as Glock does for me, but that's my strong point right now. That and ARs, I can do pretty good with that. And I can do some of the other types of guns, but I'm not really as familiar with them, like revolvers and stuff. Everybody says revolvers are so easy and so simple and all that. Well, I beg to differ. Maybe the operation of throwing a few bullets in the cylinder and pulling the trigger is simple, but if you pop open that side cover and all them springs going this way and that way and all that kind of stuff, it's a little bit complicated if you don't know what you're doing. As far as a Glock, it's pretty much like a puzzle or Legos or something. It's only a few parts in there. You knock a couple pins out, you pull the whole trigger housing out, and you're good to go. But anyway, like I said, some things like that. Then in your group, it's good to have somebody that is really good with radios and communication. That is something I'm not very familiar with at all. I need to work on getting my ham license so I can start learning with them a little bit. But like I said, everything going on, I hadn't had time lately. But that is a very helpful skill that not only talking back and forth with your own group, but you can listen to like the emergency services and get an idea of what's going on and you know, things like that, stay up to date, in the loop and all that. And also you need somebody that knows medical stuff, like a doctor or a nurse, if you can find one, because, you know, especially in shtf, and it's just you and your group and no emergency services or anything like that, you're going to need somebody that knows medical stuff. Because I can guarantee you, I don't care who you are, something stupid's going to happen. You're going to have some kind of accident or some kind of whatever that you had never dreamed that was coming. It can even come from something that you're very familiar with, and you just don't take that extra second of caution, and it'll bite you. Also, when it comes to dealing with sickness and stuff, when somebody gets sick, if you got somebody who's a doctor or a nurse or something, they can tell by the symptoms a lot more accurately of what they really have than you can. You know, based on you know, regular people assumption or whatever. If you got, you know, a headache, you got chills, you got temperature, stuff like that, you know, you got the flu, whether you got it or not. And if you just got, like, you know, stomach bug, you know, whatever, they know more what they're looking at and what's good to treat it. And especially if you have one that's into preparedness, they'll know more, you know, regular, like herbal stuff and essential oils and things like that that you can use versus, you know, only regular medicine. So all that's got somebody that's a carpenter that knows how to build things and build it the right way, that's very beneficial for building, new shelters, or building barns, or chicken coops, or anything like that you might need. You also need people that are really good at cooking, and also knowing how to can and being able to preserve the food and things like that. That's a skill that, well, from my experience, the canning skill is really going away. Not a lot of people do it anymore. Not a lot of people are into it or see the need for it. But after this pandemic is over, I don't know, maybe more people will take an interest in it. But so far, it's kind of a dying skill, dying breed type of thing. Then you need your people that know how to garden and to be able to get the most out of the land, and know when to plant and all that kind of stuff. Which apparently this year I did not, because I had to replant my garden because I planted too early, and then we got that frost and it killed everything. Except for the potatoes are coming back out now, and the corn, it didn't really hurt. As far as the tomatoes and snaps and stuff like that, it got them good. But anyway, you need all those type of skills, and you need somebody that can hunt, is really good at hunting, so you can get more food and all that kind of stuff. I'd say I'm a decent hunter, but I'm not the world's greatest by far. There's plenty of people that are more into it than I am that know how to get it done. But anyway, then you got your fishing, all that kind of stuff. And one skill I don't know a lot about, I need to get better with, and maybe some other people in the group might know more about it than I do, but like finding wild edibles, like foraging and stuff like that. I think you would call it foraging, I'm not sure. But that's a very, very handy skill if you ain't got, if you're in an apocalypse situation, knowing what you can eat in the wild and what you can't. All that kind of stuff. One thing I did look up was pine needle tea. That seemed pretty cool. I made one little cup of it one time, and it was okay. I liked it better cold than I did hot, but that's just me. But anyway, you take, you get like a boiling thing of water, and you take a cup with the pine needles like crunched up in it, and then you pour the hot water over in there and let it sit for a while and let it, mix together and whatnot. But it's supposed to be real good, and I think vitamin A, I know it was some vitamin C, stuff like that. Some of the old like Indian medicines type of thing. But that's something I need to work more on. And like I said, I know a little bit about mechanicking, but it's good if you got somebody that's really good at it in the group, to be able to keep whatever vehicles you have maintained and things like that, for as long as you have gas or whatever. I mean, it may even be a time that you come together as a group for, whatever, civil unrest or pandemic or something, and you still have the grid up and gas and all that. You just kind of hunkered down together. But all of those things are good skills to have. Also, I believe you should have somebody, if you're like a religious group or things like that, you should have somebody that's, a spiritual leader, somebody that's, like a preacher or teacher, or somebody that's really studied up on it and really close to God and all that kind of stuff. To, like I said, if you're a religious group that works to bring everybody closer together, and things like that. But anyway, that's kind of my take on like different varieties of people and skills you should have in your group. And everybody's different, so you might be looking for something different. But anyway, if you don't have a group, I think you should at least be thinking about one and getting together and making it work. Right now, with everything's been going on, we really haven't been getting together. Everybody's been had something going on and all that, but hopefully pretty soon we can start getting together like once a month or something like that, and doing some kind of training or learning something together, or things like that. Also, most of the people in the group play music too, and we all play bluegrass, so we get to be able to do that together too, so that's pretty cool. And hopefully we can all get together and make a couple of videos of us playing music and put on here too. Maybe some of you might enjoy it. But anyway, like I said, be thinking about those things, and I think you should really screen your people really good on who you let in and who you don't. Make sure it's somebody you can really trust, especially being around your family, if you got family and kids and stuff like that, because all that stuff is a big deal. If you got the wrong people in your group, you might be in for more trouble than just whatever the shtf you have. But anyway, I reckon I'm gonna go ahead and call it an end on this one. So stay prayed up, prepped up, and strapped up, and I'll see you later.